Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Monday Night Twitch. I am your host, the WanderingTook, and with me, as always, is your other host, BigFomLof.
Hey,
We're doing
interesting night we got.
something. Yeah, we're doing something different.
We are doing something different.
This is not a playthrough. I think we're just gonna have a chat about the Lord of the Rings campaign and
A
this
conversation with pictures.
a conversation with pictures and decks, a little bit of a retrospective, kind of whatever people want to bring up. We've left
Oh,
the channel open for people to leave their comments, join us on the stream, and we'll see how this goes. Um,
awesome.
so I think we should address the elephant in the room first. What do you think?
um, do you
Is that
want?
a fat joke?
Whoa!
Wait,
Hey, look
what
at
voice
that.
was that? Look,
That's
the
that's
door
special
is
guest.
is already open. Look at that. Uh,
Welcome, John.
that sounds a lot like John.
Hey guys.
And Beverly's in there as well, right?
Yeah.
So,
Hey.
good evening.
Glad you could join us. Now,
So-
just so, because I actually don't know, John, I know you're fairly new to the community. At what point did you start listening to our campaign? Do you remember?
Goodness. I think. Let me look at the box and see if I can look back. I think I started watching around the time y'all were going through Land of Shadow. I
Oh
think
my.
I might. Yeah, it was
it's been
late.
a while.
It was late. I think I started maybe
you sure?
when y'all were doing the Journey to the Crossroads, or maybe Timmy of Smeagol.
Oh, possibly.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
I remember we met John, because he appeared on the chat and corrected all of our mistakes. And so we thought we would invite him on to one of our special guest nights, so he couldn't correct our mistakes because he'd be with us.
Got it.
And so ever since then,
He never left.
he's
Still
he's a
correct.
steadfast
John.
and loyal companion, and it's been great getting to know you, John, and you, Beverly. So
Yeah.
thanks for
been a
being
lot
with
of
us. So the elephant in the room, I guess I should probably talk about this, Mumak. Go ahead, you do it.
So after lengthy discussion, we have decided, I guess the best phrase is put our campaign on indefinite hiatus.
Oh, that's a sweet way of saying
It's a
I'm
very
never playing this again.
I guess it came down to everything was fun kind of up until the end. And we decided that I think you said it last time, we weren't our cheery, happy selves.
Right, and so I was worried that the bashing my head against Mount Doom would kind of have this coloring effect on the fun I had from the get-go of this.
Right.
And make me forget that I did have fun at one point. So and so like I don't know, I'm happy with the alternate history of Frodo didn't make it, you know?
Isn't that the point of Mount Doom?
I think yeah.
All
It'd be-
joy. You forget
Yeah.
all.
It,
Can't
yeah.
share the taste of strawberries with cream.
Yeah,
Wonderfully
it-
thematic. Thank you, John, for that meme.
Yeah. It beat me. Mount Doom beat me. It crushed my soul. And other people in the community have beat it.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
they had a great time doing it. And more power to them, I guess. But
So I guess well let's start from the beginning because this can be instructional too. This can be instructional in the choices we picked, how we went about the quests, where things went off the rails, where we prevailed.
sure.
Yeah, and just some funny things that happened. So, do you know how long we've been at it with this campaign?
That's great trivia. I have to guess that we've been close to a year.
July 3rd, 2018.
Look at that.
Wow.
So
Yeah, that's when we
1
started.
year.
That's when.
Now, wasn't that about the
Over a
length
year.
of the journey in the book? Is it 13 months?
Oh, something like that.
Right? Okay.
Yeah. So,
So a year. A year. I mean, obviously we would every other week do something else, and we had some Arkham in there, I think.
yeah, we certainly did.
Um,
Now, this was not my first campaign. It certainly wasn't your first campaign.
It wasn't. You and I were in one earlier and got, what, 7 in, maybe?
We got 10 in.
Oh, wow. Okay.
10 to,
All right.
yeah. And I got almost the same in another campaign of mine. And then solo, I got almost as far. When we started, we said that we would finish this campaign. And we said we would never leave each other. We have the best shot of anybody of finishing this campaign.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are actual quotes.
And we stayed true.
We did.
We stayed true. Which is what a Fellowship and Heroes is all about.
Yeah. So I'm going to, because this is going to be a lot of fun if I can pull this off. Let's just jump scenes here. There we go. This is not my first deck. This is my first deck. This is how I started the campaign, and it looks very similar. My goal starting this was not to change decks for the whole campaign.
Ooh.
Mostly. I started with Sam, and I switched him out as soon as Gildor was released because Gildor is so much better and basically filled the same slot. But the deck basically remained unchanged. And
Right.
I would tweak it here and there, but that was my goal. Tough goal, yes. But
No, I thought you did really well on that. I made more changes to mine. But
yeah, I've got your first
I
one
would
up
like
on
to
your
go
account.
back and think about some of those battle heavy quests where there were times when you had a lot of monsters on you and wondered if Sam could have done something for you. Like with my arrows flying your way with Legolas and stuff. Because I kind of switched over to Legolas when you switched over to Gildor.
Right, that is true.
And Sam brings a little something to the table offensively.
He
And
does. Good food for thought.
so I just wonder, like, we really only like super struggled, I think, aside from Mount Doom and 2 or 3 other quests,
Pretty much.
right?
Yeah.
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 So
do you want to give a couple thoughts about your first deck?
I really, really liked playing it. So my first deck was, do you have it up there?
I do.
I can't see
I
what you're doing.
believe everyone
Okay.
can see your deck list from RingsDB at the moment.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I started with Pippin, Mary, and Tactics Eowyn, and it was an Ents deck, and it was like all of them took a little while to get rolling, but you have that room in the beginning, and I thought that deck smashed a lot of things.
It did, and it had some
Um,
key. Had some fun things in here. Westfold Outrider is nice.
Yep, it was a lot of fun to play.
Oh,
But
Tireless
it relied on getting Treebeard out minute 1, which you can do with Frodo's resources.
Oh, that's right. You had your 3 of Resourcefuls, and you wanted a first turn Treebeard.
Yeah. So that.
Too much for beer.
Yeah. Okay.
And when that happened, it was a really good deck.
Oh, it was a thing to behold.
But Ents are their own kind of clunky monkey to walk around Middle Earth with. So.
Yep.
But yeah, that was the first thing, and I thought we did really well. We struggled in was it the first or the second of those Fellowship quests? I forget. The Old Forest or the other one?
It was mostly the Old Forest. So,
yeah.
Okay. Before we get there, just a couple of things. I want to go over our choices because we had our first major choice in this first quest, and that was which burden to pick and which boon to pick. So we had for burdens we had Gandalf's Delay, or the Ring Draws Them, which is somewhere inside that encounter deck.
Okay.
Here, let me.
I'll go get it.
And grab Gildor while you're in there.
Okay. It's called The Ring Draws Them, you said?
Yep.
Not Lure of the Ring? Okay. Keep talking, I'm looking.
Okay, so, well, look, you got the boons out. This was, I think for us, a fairly easy choice. We get to pick one of these boons, either the encounter card Gildor and Glorian, or Mr. Underhill. People don't often like Gildor. He's actually one of my favorite boons because he doesn't have the surge keyword, and you can break the game in solo.
Mm.
With Shadow of the Past, this guy is amazing.
I can see that working really well.
Sure. Yeah.
For us, though, our decks did not go that way, and we decided to go Mr. Underhill. And I don't know about you, but I thought that was the right call.
It was the right call.
Yeah.
That was always there, and just that faint when you need it, man.
And I think we used it almost every.
We used it every time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
Okay.
Gildor could have not shown up, but yeah. And then the bad things cards. Now I'm looking at, I obviously haven't looked at the ring draws them in a year, so.
Yeah, at the end of the phase, each enemy in the staging area engages the first player.
I could see that really wrecking us in a way that my starting hand of 5 didn't.
Yeah.
So that seems to me like a no-brainer, but I'd be surprised why people would choose the ring draws them.
I did in my campaign, and I regretted it.
Yeah. They don't even seem like on par with each other, really, in terms of power and stuff. So.
Yeah, I have no idea why anybody would take ring draws them. It's awful.
Other than you can cancel it?
I guess, but it still surges.
Yeah, it surges.
Yeah, no, it's just. I don't. I mean, could you imagine that for 20 quests?
Yeah. Imagine that in Mines of Moria, where just you have all these goblins building up because you don't want to engage them to take damage off Doom, and then all of a sudden,
yep,
they're building up and wham, they all engage you.
Oh, Mount Doom.
Yeah.
Hey, guess what? That 88 threat Nazgul is now on you.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's just, I don't understand why anyone would make that choice, but
yeah. All right.
There it is. So those were our first choices, and I think those were wise. And
okay.
I never regretted these choices, and I'm actually not sure I regretted any of ours, but we'll talk more about them.
I regret a couple. We'll get there.
I regret certain facts of our existence in this campaign, not necessarily the choices we made.
Regretting is not heroic.
No.
The bonus quest, the Old Forest and Fog on the Barrow Downs. And you're right, the Old Forest we scooped a couple times. The first time we just didn't know what we were doing. We missed triggers all over the place. And
that's right. It was an ugly game.
It's hard. It's hard in multiplayer. It surges like crazy.
Mm-hmm.
John, have you played that one?
Which, of Fog or Old Forest?
Old Forest.
I've not actually played that one. When I played through with Carlos, our campaign, we only played with stuff that we owned physical copies of, and neither of us at that point owned Fog on the Barrow Downs or Old Forest, so we just played through the boxes.
Well, do you mind making a couple cards there, Daniel? The Old-bogey Stories and Tom Bombadil?
I will do it.
Since the next major choice is whether or not to do these quests. And in 4-player, I think we abandoned this because we were just creamed so hard. Old-bogey Stories. I'm going to come out and say that that was a really good choice to play that level again. We almost didn't to get that card. Because we never used it except to discard it due to shadow effects.
And there's several quests that have discard attachment stuff in the campaign.
Yeah.
That shadow effect comes up fairly often.
Yep.
And then there's Tom Bombadil, the one-time test of will that starts in your hand. No, that's not him. Other one.
This is the one called the Old Forest, though.
Oh no, that would be in.
It's Ho Tom Bombadil.
Ho Tom Bombadil in Fog of the Barrow.
Oh,
Here it is. There it is.
Did you get it?
Yeah. There's our one-time feint.
Oh yes, I remember him.
One-time test of will.
Oh yeah, test of will. Test of will. See, he's still correcting us.
Minion of Sauron.
All right.
All right. So, why are we talking about this?
Is it worth playing that quest to get this card?
Oh. Yeah.
You don't even remember where we used it, do you?
I really don't. I remember it was a lot later.
Yeah, it was later. It wasn't a clutch moment, but it was one that helped us get a foothold in Journeys in the Dark.
That's right. That's right.
It's also a hard quest. It's the one where you get trapped in a
It's
barrow and you
really
lose all your allies.
My brother and Beverly and I were playing a 3-player campaign, and we took so long. But Fog on the Barrow Downs is just, we did actually beat that one, yes, and got it.
Nice.
That's a hard one in multiplayer. It's a hard one in general, but that boon is really good. I mean, it's a one-shot test of will. That's saves your bacon.
Yep. Yes, it is.
One thing we did, Mike, philosophically that I still admire of us. I mean, yes, we reset a couple times, but we would not play for like super optimal wins.
True.
Right? So if we won, we'd be like, move on.
Yeah.
Right? So we thought of those moments like, well, when do we use this one time test of will? Like, it's not the best time. We'll probably miss it later, but we won. And I think that philosophy is the right one to approach this with, but it also led to catastrophic burdens in the latter half of the campaign, which we'll get to, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But wow.
Yeah.
We suffered at the end. We did. All right, what next? What do you want me to put on next? Reset?
Let's do a reset. Let's just pull out a couple boons. So the next one is a Knife in the Dark. Just a quick moment here. We almost scooped, or I was pressuring you to scoop. Basically, the Witch King engaged me, and that deck is not. It was not supposed to engage me, and we had this thing. It was staring me down, and it was looking really, really grim. And you saved us at the last moment, Daniel. You said, no, we'll keep going. And then when the game was truly lost, at the last second, you said, wait, we're playing with version 1 Frodo. And used his response to cancel a game-ending treachery that then won us the level.
Nice.
So, yeah.
That, I mean, I don't really often go back and watch our videos like on YouTube and stuff because I can't really listen to myself. But I did go back to watch that one. It's like, yeah, that was a good.
It was a good game.
That was a good game.
Did y'all take out Bill from you early?
Say it again.
Did y'all take out Bill early, or how long did he sit in the staging area and raise your threat?
A long time. We both had things in there to keep him occupied, or sorry, to bring him out, and we didn't draw them until at the very end. Yeah, this was sometimes our decks sang, sometimes they didn't, and the first half of the campaign we were muscling through, regardless.
Yeah.
So these are the boons that we got: the Valiant Warrior on Merry.
Yep.
And the Tireless Ranger on Elrond.
Tireless Ranger was a great pick. Yep. Obviously, Valiant Warrior lasted just a couple more games.
And it was good.
It was. No, I mean, we got Merry attacking for 7 and stuff sometimes. And, so, I mean, he could hit a little more powerfully than Legolas could.
Yeah.
Legolas just is so much more flexible and interesting to play, I think.
And I think that leads into the first point that's perhaps a little more unfair about this campaign, in that yes, you can change heroes out, but then you lose your boons.
Mm-hmm.
And Gandalf's delay dogged us to the end.
Yep.
Yeah, they never let us get rid of that.
It stays with you.
Yeah.
Just always delayed.
Oh.
What? I think we have another guest.
Hey!
The door's opened again.
Hi.
Hey, Chad.
Hello.
The
Hi.
chat.
Hi.
What we have here is someone who has successfully ended a campaign, Mike.
Holy crap.
Can you believe that?
Holy crap.
Those people are out there.
Yeah, Middle Earth is safe where I come from.
Same here. I don't know what
You would not
guys-
believe what Sauron has done for us. We have this thing called the internet. It's fantastic.
Bridge cards. It's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
we're
know.
going
Don't know how
through-
much time I have. I have 6 kids here, and I'm by myself.
Sure.
Oh, bless you.
Feel free to pop in and out. We're basically going through the campaign quest by quest and outlining some key moments and key decisions.
I gotcha.
And then near the end, we'll talk about how we feel about this campaign in general, and that would be a good time to jump back on if you could too.
Okay.
You know what your takeaways of it are, and what your positives are and negatives if there are any, and just of the format in general.
Sure.
All right.
But how are you, man?
I'm good.
You hosting like a slumber party or something?
Oh no, I got 3 of my own, and we got 2 foster kids, and then my goddaughter is up for the week.
Oh, fun.
Wow.
Yep.
Right on.
Yep. Full house all the time. Go through a gallon of milk a day.
Oh my gosh.
I know how that is. I'm the oldest of 8 kids. I know how that is.
Uh-huh.
Have you thought of investing in an actual cow?
Well, we have chickens. We already have chickens.
Well, then it seems the logical next step. Or maybe goat first, then cow.
Upgraded.
You're going to do it right.
Goat.
All right.
So, actually, where are we now? We're Knife in the Dark, right?
Yeah, getting back.
Yeah.
I have a question for you, Daniel. Yes,
sir.
If you had, in 2020 vision, retrospective vision, you probably would have put Noble Hero on Eowyn instead. Or perhaps Valiant Warrior on Eowyn. Or I guess,
Basically anything other than you did.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Well,
what Mike is trying to say.
We're talking. This has a point. So the first thing is that before you jumped on, Chad, we were saying how yes, the campaign lets you change out heroes, but it stabs you in the back by not letting you take your boons with you. So the question I have for Daniel is, would it have mattered?
God, I don't know. I mean, that extra 1 on Eowyn, we also got that a little bit later anyway with the Esquire of Gondor stuff, and maybe, like Merry was a boss for 4 or 5 scenarios with that before he turned into Legolas.
So maybe it was the right decision.
Maybe it was the right call to get us through that sort of. What would that be? The second
2 boxes.
box?
The first 2.5 boxes we got through.
Yeah.
So what did you do?
I got Valiant Warrior on Merry instead of Noble Hero on Eowyn.
So okay, +1 attack on Merry versus +1 willpower on Eowyn.
Yeah.
Well, I think you made the right choice by putting the boon on a hero that is in multiple spheres.
Yeah.
Because then at least if you keep that one hero but swap out the others, you also have the you can switch spheres as well. And Merry and Eowyn are both good choices for that.
They're also both splashable heroes, so you can use them for either one. I think that's the best use for those boons.
I never thought to get Valiant Warrior Spirit Merry.
That probably wouldn't have done much in retrospect.
Yeah, that's true.
He could have been intimidating.
Right? I think that would have been cool. So yeah, I don't know. I guess in retrospect, I'd maybe take Noble Hero.
Okay. Just curious.
Yeah.
What do you guys think is the best way to play with these boons? To plan out and plan your campaign around them, or to just kind of have fun and just kind of oh, okay, well, let's just try this on this guy? Or
well, you know my answer.
There's the way that we played that we'd like to play, and then there's the way that the game wants you to play.
Yeah.
And I think the campaign is built to strongly favor planning ahead of time.
Which is something I'll talk about at the end as one of my negatives. So there's a little foreshadow of something like I don't know. It seems anti-thematic to plan your quest ahead, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So.
All right.
All right.
Flight to the Ford. Not much to say here. This is the quest where you could possibly have up to 5 burdens in your pool.
And I'm sure we did it.
We got 1.
Oh, good for us.
We did it with the absolute minimum number of burdens.
Okay.
1 copy of Eaten Alive.
Yep.
And we creamed it. We crushed it. It was great. So we could have had 4 more burdens. Just saying.
No, yeah, and I remember feeling really good at that point.
Yeah. That's the only note I have on that one. That's a pretty.
Okay. That's a good note.
Okay, so that's box 1.
Well, when I played it solo, I put what the heck is it? Out of the Wild.
Mm-hmm.
Which lets you put a card in the victory display.
Oh yeah.
I put Shadow of the Past.
0.
So then I ended up with 0 burdens. Because once
that was really good.
I threw it back on top of the encounter deck and then played Out of the Wild and got it out of my campaign pool forever.
Some really good tech.
Wait, you mean it still lets you even if it's in the victory display? Oh,
I will be right
wow.
So it's in the victory display.
Oh.
It says if you have a burden in your encounter deck or discard pile, that is now part of your campaign. But if you can get it in the victory display.
Loopholes.
That is absolutely crazy.
Because they didn't think about that in design.
Well,
Indeed.
it's not easy to pull off. Like
No, it's not.
I mean, I think I actually had to play 2 Shadow of the Past, if I remember correctly, because I think it surged. I think I had
all of them have surge.
Yeah, so it surged into another treachery, and so that treachery ended up on top of the discard pile with the burden actually underneath it.
Mm-hmm.
Dig it out twice. Yeah, I had to play 2 Shadow of the Past, one right after another, 4 resources, and then the Out of the Wild.
Huh.
That makes me think of all the cards you didn't play because of that.
Yeah, but then I.
But he didn't have.
But it worked. But it worked,
Yeah.
right?
And
So
Eaten Alive is not a bad card. It sucked at the
It's-
beginning for you when you
yeah.
had Hobbits, but we
Yeah.
weathered it afterwards. Quite.
I
easily.
don't recall that one being one of those when it showed up. So
No.
What's
Okay.
the one with the green? Like it's all greeny. Is it the ring draws them, or the power of the ring?
No, not lure. Weight of the ring.
That's the worst.
Oh, yep.
You raise your threat by something every time you exhaust the ring.
Yeah, here it is. Yeah, at the beginning of the quest phase, either exhaust the 1 ring or reveal an additional encounter card this quest phase.
Oh,
That is awful.
there it
That
is.
to me feels like you should just reset if you
Yeah.
get that.
If that's the one you draw, you're just like, oh no, I lost, I tripped. Oh, the riders got me. All right.
Oh, the
Ugh.
ring drugged me down. It was too heavy. Reset.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
oof.
So what I popped up here is the ring goes south.
My favorite quest.
This is a fun one.
It
This
is so
a fun
fun.
one.
The very
So
beginning is so fun.
oh yeah, our fun little council, and then we're
Yes,
given another choice. Do we raise our threats by 5 just for this quest, or do we shuffle this card into the encounter deck? And after the one exhaust,
we raised our threat.
yeah, and I'm glad we did because this, if it's attached to a hero, gets added to your campaign pool, and that stinks.
Yep. Carlos and I raised our threat when we did that.
It's peril too.
Mm-hmm.
After one ring exhaust, raise each player's threat by 1 and reduce attached hero's willpower to 0 until the end of the round. Ugh.
Yeah, I think it was worth putting my threat to 27 or whatever.
Yeah. It was rough.
So,
It was rough,
Yeah.
but that was it.
but this is such a fun quest.
Haldir is really good tech against this quest because you don't want to engage the enemies, so he can just snipe them for you.
Oh my! All these tricks these newcomers have. Back in the day when we just had Legolas playing this quest.
Yeah, well. Speaking of Legolas, are we about that time?
No, we're
when
not.
did that change?
We're
Are
not
we
even
still
close.
far away?
We are still playing
Jeez.
those decks. We're still
Okay.
doing that, and
right.
we have only scooped in one quest.
Right.
All right.
Hey, I gotta jump off. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No
All right,
worries.
well, keep
We'll see
coming
you later.
back.
All right, talk to you later. Bye.
Okay, why don't you load up Journeys in the Dark?
I'll do that.
So this was a pivotal moment. And a common theme moving forward was the high threat of my deck. And back at this point of the game, that threat was a big deal because I was not a combat deck. John, when you saw me, I was a combat deck compared to what I was at this point. So high threat was bad, and I was worried about feeding someone to the Balrog and having us having to raise our threat. So the plan was to feed someone to the Balrog and then use Fortune or Fate. Because I believe that satisfies the condition where you still get to beat the Balrog and then no one raises their threat.
That's the classic trick that made not work in Nightmare mode.
Ah. So, of course, Steward of Gondor, all 3 copies are in the bottom 10 cards of my deck. And I draw Steward on the turn that I have to sacrifice Sam, and he's got 1 resource on him. And we had a discussion. We basically, we couldn't do it. I was spending all my spirit resources just treading water. Because it's a hard quest.
It is.
And Daniel and I had a talk, and he says, you know what, he said, what if we don't? We don't have to feed anyone to the Balrog.
We don't have to feed the Balrog.
And you said, we didn't come here to kill a Balrog. We're not those people.
Did y'all know what would happen if you didn't?
Well, yeah, we did. We just
did.
thought we could weather it.
Right.
And I think that was a bad decision.
Yeah. Well, in hindsight, when Sam turned into Gildor anyway.
I knew that was going to happen. I didn't want to raise my threat. And in retrospect, the threat means nothing once you hit the last 2 boxes.
True.
I mean, I'll say, I remember when I first started watching and I saw that you have both of those treacheries up there. I was like, wait, why do they have both Oh, they didn't kill the Balrog. Oh, no.
Yeah.
Which, yes, oh no, but wow, that is... I'm not sure the punishment fits the crime.
Well, yeah, I thought we did a really nice thing.
You let a Balrog live.
Look at that.
And a hero. Right? We made the universe have net more people in it.
That's true.
Well, you can bring that hero back later on. Spoilers.
Perhaps. This is also the quest where we used Tom Bombadil. I think we tried to rush through it, and then we used him early. And I think if we hadn't used it, we probably would have lost.
Do you remember what treachery it was?
I don't even remember.
I don't.
But it wasn't a game ender. It was a tread water versus finally get a handhold.
Yeah.
And I think it was
right, because once we made a decision, we're just gonna run through these mines.
Yeah.
We couldn't have a quest stage that basically kept us even. That was unacceptable.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And so it's probably one of those treacheries that removed Eowyn or killed everyone who was exhausted or whatever. It wouldn't have killed us completely, but so we just
delayed us.
It was the right time. Now, this would be the moment in the campaign, Mike, that if I were to have a big regret, because I have 8 months of hindsight or whatever on it, I would feel the most bad. Because this group right there, I don't know if you can see all the things that I boxed. Here you go.
Yeah.
Those 4 cards dogged us forever.
They defined our decks.
Especially the top 2.
Yeah, they killed my mulligans in every game since.
And what's that one? The one that makes the text box is blank.
Oh, Shadow
and then
of Fear.
the shadow is also like your defenders don't count their defense. Like that's
Yeah.
just you always whenever you're defending have to be like, okay, has that one been in the discard pile yet?
Yeah.
Have we seen it yet? Like
Yeah, no, like we.
From this point forward, I had 3 copies of Hasty Stroke. You had 3 copies of Sterned and Steel, and I had 5 healers in my deck.
Yeah, no, I mean this made us change our ways a little bit, and part of me, like the Mr. Hero part that likes the challenge, blah blah blah. It's like glad we did it. It made it harder, and I like thematically not killing Sam, and I like the idea of running for it. First I like that there was another way to do it, because the other time we played the campaign, we fed someone to the Balrog.
Yeah. And it was very, offhand. Oh yeah, we'll just kill him. Yeah, he's gone. Thank you.
Yeah, and it was like, feels oogie for this particular source material.
Mm. Carlos and I. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, that's it. I mean, just sort of like it was. You could win this quest without doing that, and yet hit you. But it's like you said, Mike. The punishment did not fit the crime. Like these burdens should have gone away in the way that some boons did, and that'll be a complaint for later.
Yeah, Carlos and I fed Gandalf to the Balrog. I think it was even like we didn't really have to, but I was like, no, I'm doing it. I'm chunking Gandalf. This is happening right now.
Yeah.
It's like, okay.
In ours, I believe we killed Aragorn, right?
No, we didn't kill anybody. Oh, you
No,
mean the first one?
The first one we did. Didn't I throw Aragorn down the chute?
I think so.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's a good joke.
Yeah. So he
Yeah.
came back as Aragorn the White.
Yeah.
We didn't kill anyone, but we weren't playing in campaign mode either.
Oh no, when we played. Beverly and I have played all of them, but we have not played them all in campaign mode yet.
I see.
Oh, cool. Okay.
She wanted to play
Yeah, like-
through them all standard first.
For example, how many Grievous Wounds can you really have?
Oh, I know.
Like, that should be a thing that happens to you once. It really sucks. Then it's gone.
The wound was so grievous. Oh, that one's grievous. Oh, that one's even more grievous.
This is more grievous. Yeah, it doesn't make sense. Like, you get these boons that are like one-shot test of wills in a whole campaign. But like, oh, you got hurt. You got a scratch. Round 1. It's another Grievous Wound. That makes no sense.
Every wound is grievous from then on out.
We should have made some house rules, Mike.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we kind of did because we forgot that boon a couple times, or that burden a couple times.
Well, good for us.
Yeah.
That was the right call. All right.
Okay, so Breaking of the Fellowship. This is where I decided to replace Sam with Gildor and Glorian. Otherwise, my deck remained the same.
Okay.
Just highly efficient. Because card draw is really good.
This one is one of my favorite ones of the saga.
Do you
That's a
mind
good question.
loading it up?
Oh, yep.
I love the splitting up. And
Yeah. Okay, so this was interesting. I love this. There's some very prophetic stuff in here. So, just as in the last quest, the plan didn't quite work out. Same thing here. We did have an opportunity to get rid of a burden with the Seed of Seeing. Now, unfortunately, let's see. So we did scoop this one. We scooped once because a series of bad shadows lost Arwen. And there was no way I was...
Yes.
I had to have Arwen.
There was no... Yeah, that was...
Yep. We used up the first boon we got. The first one used boon, the Lumbus, Leaf Wrap Lumbus. We used it up here.
Yes.
And when we split up, Daniel got Frodo. And I will, once again, just show everyone Daniel's deck.
Not exactly the questing type.
Not exactly the question. Like, we were done. We were dead. And he was stupidly lucky in getting out. I was pulling every trick I could to pull as many cards away from him as possible, and you just do exactly the right cards to get
correction. There's no such thing as stupidly lucky. There is only heroic.
You were stupidly lucky. There's nothing heroic about that one.
Come now. Come now.
You were questing for 4, or like you had enemies on you and you couldn't quest for everything, or you YOLO'd or something, and you just barely got out. But it meant you could go to the seat. And if you can't go to the seat of seeing, you can't benefit. And so once again, we could not get rid of a burden. So.
But in my defense, 4 willpower is pretty huge for questing for me. So.
Oh yeah. So here's a little
I maxed
exchange
out.
we
I did
had.
what I could.
This as soon as we finished, I said to you, "Do you get the feeling we're kicking the can down the road?" And you said, "It's going to be pretty grim around Mount Doom time."
Oh boy. Oh boy. Prophetic words.
Well, it looks like I knew something.
Anyways, okay. So at this point in the game, we have 1 more special boon left, 3 golden hairs. And we have 2 people captured by the Uruk-hai. That would be Pippin and Gildor. Not much to say over this one, but we absolutely crushed it.
Nice.
Again.
Yep. Except for the whole seat of seeing thing.
Sorry, this is the Uruk-hai, the next one.
Oh, sorry.
Uruk-hai.
Yep. Right.
At which point we choose our. Actually, if you have the boons in there, this is where we choose Forewarned for Elrond and Leader of Men for Eowyn.
For Eowyn, right?
Yep, and you agonized over this.
Which
you
is
were
weird.
Seriously
Looking back,
going like, why
Hmm.
should I put Intimidation on Merry or Leader of Men on Eowyn?
Oh God.
All the boons in this one are really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that was a no-brainer.
I'm just gonna pull up Intimidation. Oh no, it went on and on about it because.
Well, let me see Intimidation again. I am curious.
Yeah,
about
I'm
what
pulling
I'm
it up.
freaked about. Okay.
There it is.
There it is.
After you
Tattoo
capture
warrior,
declared...
and Mary was a valiant warrior at that time.
Yeah. Exhaust to give someone -2 shields for this attack.
And I was often fighting with him at around 5-6 damage.
And that sets up straight shot too.
Yeah, no, okay. I get it.
That boon can be really good on Aragorn when he gets Anduril in the future.
Oh,
like
you're
with the whole
right.
counterattack thing.
Oh, that's amazing.
I really wanted to try to do a campaign when I can get Aragorn Valiant Warrior and Intimidation, so that he just smashes things when he defends.
That would be
and
amazing.
Then when the campaign makes you have Aragorn, you just put that stuff on him, right?
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
He's always going to be with you when those campaign things where he's, So. Beyond All Hope, though, is a very cool card.
Yes.
This one. That's what Carlos and I ended up doing with Gandalf. And turns out Gandalf with 4/4/4 in his stats and immune to treachery conditions is pretty amazing.
It is awesome. Now, here's the question. If you have to attach a treachery to someone, doesn't that mean you have to attach it to someone weaker?
You would just have to attach it to the next eligible target.
Yeah, that's what caught me, because in my campaign, I think I had like a couple hobbits and Gandalf, and I was like, no, I want it on Gandalf. He can suffer that. Like, he can take it. So I don't know.
Well, it was really good in Mount Doom for us because that one terrible condition attachment.
Oh my
gosh. I can stack stuff on Gandalf and make him incredible, and guess what? He's never going to get that condition attachment.
That's pretty good.
Nice.
Yeah.
So it's pretty great, but the problem is like all the other boons are really good too. So it's like
it's one or nothing.
Yeah. So Mike, what about this on Elrond instead of Forewarned? Although Forewarned did serious yeoman's work for you in the campaign.
Especially when you consider the deck space I had to devote to just counteracting those burdens. Being able to take out Burning Brand did a lot for me.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay.
All right, well, there's that.
Helm's Deep.
That was a bit of a slog.
I was in a bad. I hate Helm's Deep. I'm not afraid of saying.
Yeah, you were not. You were not full of joy.
I thematically love it. I think as a quest, it honestly feels like Mount Doom. Like either
it's one of the harder ones.
You get your head smashed in over and over, or you wipe it and there's no middle ground. So at this point, I'm actually going to pop over to our decks because this is where we both change it up.
All right.
And that's not it. Maybe it is. No, that's not it. All right. So Daniel, do you mind loading up your deck since I don't have your deck list here?
Mm-hmm.
So what I did before this point, I was putting Steward of Gondor on Arwen, and just to fuel my card draw, and defeat quest with Protector of Lorien, and that's why I was so slow to build up my combat.
All right.
This was the
Here's
quest
Helm's
where
Deep
that
version
didn't work.
5. This is the deck.
Awesome. So at this point, my deck was very similar to what it was before. I just changed my strategy. And it let me get my Mithril Sea Watchers and my Veteran Sword Elves out faster. It meant I couldn't draw as many cards, but that was the way things had to be from now on.
I like long defeat for Helm's Deep. That's actually really good. That's a good way to take against it. If they,
Oh, yeah.
if they quest, then you get some good stuff.
Yep. And I didn't end up pulling it off. I spent it, but I didn't get to use it because at that point we were crushing it.
And this is where I started 6 straight scenarios trying to work this guy into my life.
Yes. And
nice.
wow, yeah, when you switched it up, and I've got your deck list open on the side here. Let me just make sure that seeing that in the video. Yeah. Yeah, this is where you bring in Legolas and Beargond because we needed a whole bunch of defenses.
We needed fighting, not hobbits.
Yeah, you needed something that could take some archery.
Yeah.
And you've got straight shot right from the get-go. You've got Hands Upon the Bow. You've got your Rivendell Blades. You've got Beaufort because you're still doing some questing. Your Test of Wills because we need it. Power of Orthanc.
Turns out we needed that a lot.
Yeah.
So. But eventually we got through Helm's Deep.
We did, and we used 3 golden hairs.
We did.
And it was, again, not a game-ending scenario. I felt we were starting to run out of options, and we were already very far in, and I thought this is the time to use it. And both of us thought it was the right thing to do.
I think Helm's Deep is a good place to use boons because it is one of the harder quests.
It is. It is. Let's see. We actually failed 3 times before we finally won this quest. One failure was due to blanking text boxes. We blanked Sentinel.
Oh, that's right. This is the one with what's it called? What's that?
Devilry of Saruman.
Oh.
And that burden. So we had 4 cards in that deck that could blank us.
Oh.
Yep.
So bad.
So after we failed, Daniel says, "Oh, who pointed that out to us?" And I said, "I did." And you said, "Well, it was the right thing to do." To which my response was, "Ugh." As we, and then in our last game, it was, "Yes, I'm mulliganing a few times. Live with it." And I think that was the first time we started aggressively mulliganing.
That is where I think the 2 mulligan thing turned into maybe a 10 or 11 mulligan thing.
Yeah.
Which then turned into the natural progression, which is I'm just going to choose 5 cards now.
Yeah. So I will point out that we did not get the burdens from this quest. Neither did we get the burdens in the next quest, the Road to Isengard.
Nice.
And we crushed Road to Isengard. Crushed it.
Yeah, we did.
We had every Ent in play at the end.
That's really good.
We had no burdens. We had the Palantir of Orthanc. Daniel, you said, well, this deck is more fun to play. It's just not very themey, because you liked your Ents and your Hobbits.
I did.
But you quickly followed that up with, yeah, I don't care.
Which is uncharacteristic of me.
It is. I think you're happy just to be having fun again.
Yeah, that could be it.
And we were still having a lot of fun.
We were having a good time. Helm's Deep was a little deflaty, but
yeah. Well, why don't you jump ahead to Passage, and I'll ask John. Do you have any thoughts about that box before we say goodbye to it?
The first one's really fast quest. Helm's Deep is the hardest one, definitely, and that I think the final one, Road to Isengard, is a little easier in multiplayer. Honestly, because there are a lot of triggers in that quest.
Oh,
There's
tons.
a lot with all the wizardry stuff, so having more than one person there to help keep track of triggers is really good.
Yeah. Yep. Agreed.
But it's an overall fun box. It's
Yeah.
Right.
No, it was. It was. Okay, Passage Through the Marshes, and I think I know we used a different version of Frodo. I just don't remember when we did that. Okay, so let's see here. Okay, so we crushed it, like slaughtered this quest.
nice.
This is a running theme throughout the beginning and middle. Like we were doing
Very well.
very, very well. This is the halfway point, and so here's our discussion. You said, I'd say we've been doing pretty well. I said, yeah, we did the first half, and we will the second half. No problem, right? And Twishy said, I can't foresee any reason there'd be a problem.
I was mostly right in my defense.
Yep. And we felt at this point that your ranged and sentinel really complemented my deck better than the Ant Hobbit did.
Yeah.
Because it then allowed me to, now that I had my defender on board, actually take some of the defenses off you, and then you could still do your range shenanigans.
Yeah. And, it also needs to be said, like, Tactics Eowyn and her ability to first round or second round eliminate something monstrous is clutch.
Yeah.
Ahead of it.
And yeah, I mean, I never saved her for some late game heroic thing. It was always early.
That was the heroic thing to do.
That was yeah. She did her I am no man turn 1.
Yeah.
So what is this burden?
Okay, this is hilarious because we got to choose either raise our starting threat by 2 or put this in our decks. And I think what's funny is how long I agonized over this. Because, once again, high threat, right?
Sure.
I was concerned about threat. And thank you, everyone, for talking me out of it. I think it was, I don't remember, John, if you were on that at this point. You might have been in the chat.
May have been.
Dennison was saying, no, take the threat, take the threat.
So, see, we took the burden in Carlos and I's campaign.
Did you?
Yes, we did. I don't know. I just think it's depending on the playgroup. I don't know.
I'm imagining
There's ways to get around Searching Eye.
Yeah, that's true.
Like Gandalf and Wizard Pipe and stuff like that. But I don't know. It's really sucks when it comes up, but doesn't feel like it's usually game ending when it comes out.
I would never take that.
I think in a good 3 or 4 quests that would be game ending for me, especially my deck because it drew itself out.
Yeah, you were guaranteed to get it.
Threat's not a terrible option though, as opposed to taking that. Like I could see that being okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, my decision on this was decided before I even saw the card, I think.
Yeah.
Just 2 threat. Yes,
Take
please.
2 threat, done.
All right.
Oh, I remember part of it with the decision too is like Carlos and I had already had to raise our threat by 1 because we lost a hero to the Balrog. So we would have been raising our threat by 3 every turn. So we were like, we probably can't do that. That's probably what it was that decided it for us.
Yep. Now remember, this is the first campaign where I knew what Dire was. Before that, it was you didn't know, right? You didn't know what you're walking into. You didn't know how much threat you're going to end up with by the last game.
Sure. That's true.
Yeah. All right, Journey to the Crossroads. This is funny. Chad hates this quest. I love it.
I don't like this quest.
The quote says, I said, Crossroads is to Chad what Helm's Deep is to me. And I think the difference was Chad played it solo. I played it mostly 3-player. 3 and 4-player, this is amazingly fun. 2-player, it's hard, but still fun. Oh.
And we got our brace of Coneys here.
We did. Now, we actually lost this quest twice. And it was 100% my fault. both times. I got so greedy. We're not having any enemies under the Black Gate. We're gonna take them all, and that was the wrong choice. That was the wrong hero moment.
Well, once you call it a hero moment, it can never be wrong, Mike.
Well, you lost Baragon and Eowyn, and
Well, yeah.
when you let
We
your
had to-
friends die, maybe it's not a hero moment.
It's a kind of hero.
I kind of poked the bear and then hoped you would take them. But yeah, Brace of Coneys, which is an amazing card until you realize it only works when you have the ring bear.
Yeah, that sucks. And you only have him for what? One.
Not much
Three
more.
quests? Yeah, only like 3 more quests in the rest of the campaign.
Yeah. Now
Yeah.
the alternative was to add a resource to each hero just for this quest.
Nah, that's dumb.
Yeah.
Never take that.
So, and we
No, it
used
was
this
the right
card.
call.
We did
We
use this
used it a
card.
lot.
Yeah.
We used it all the time.
Great card. It's really powerful.
Yep.
And it
I don't
doesn't
think
get
it's
used
very
up.
good
It's not
in-
a one shot.
Yeah, it's not a one shot. In 4-player though, rough, very rough,
Mm.
because then you have to wait potentially 3 turns
Oh,
to
yeah.
play it. Okay.
Well, it is 0 cost too, though, so you don't have to like wait for the ring bearer and be storing up resources on him like some of the other ring bearer cards.
Yeah.
So-
it is nice that it's 0.
I like this scenario a lot, and I didn't mind resetting this one. I thought it's challenging, not mean-spirited and devastating.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
Oh, we were enjoying ourselves. These were
We had a
some of our
great time.
most fun scoops.
yeah, like. So I think it's a fun quest.
Mm.
I get why people don't like it. I just encourage the people that don't like this quest to just quickly go and play Mount Doom. Get some perspective about what not fun really looks like.
And then come play this with a couple more people.
And then come play
have a
this with
blast.
some more people, have a good time.
Throw in some straight shots.
Straight
Yeah.
shot is really clutch in this quest. I'm glad you brought that up. That is really clutch to get rid of those Mumax, the Oliphants.
There was another card I wanted to put in my deck, but I didn't have tactics. It's the blanking text box one.
Oh yeah, that's also good.
I
Is that
don't-
revealed in Wrath?
revealed in Wrath.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah. It's like, oh, I'm Nolder, I can do. Oh, I don't have tactics.
Womp, womp. Sad trombone.
Yeah.
Now, what enemies did y'all end up under the Black Gate?
We had an Oliphant, an Archer, and a Soldier.
Okay.
I mean, very well-rounded group. A
Yeah,
tank,
yeah.
an archery, and just a soldier. Um,
And 3 people we had dealt with just fine.
yeah.
And, you know what I mean? Like, straight shot and Mumax, whatever. I mean, like, yeah. Those were 3 good ones to have.
Yep.
3 was that was a fine number.
Now, once we decided not to be greedy, or once I decided that, we crushed it because that's what we were doing.
You gotta know when to let him go.
That is the trick. That's the trick to this one.
Yep.
Which brings us to Shelob's Lair, the one that gave me so much grief. 2-handed solo, and it is a hard quest,
Mm-hmm.
and we crushed
Shadow
it.
cancellation.
We crushed. We had
Do
some
you
shadow.
need me to put it on screen or no?
No, not this time.
There's nothing really there, right?
Nothing really to show.
Um,
The big thing that we added was heavy burden.
Yep.
If you don't mind making that card, we'll pull that out.
Yep. There it
There
is.
we go.
In all its glory.
And this really only comes back twice.
Yeah, only twice.
So, again, at this point, we didn't know we knew what Dire was, but a lot of people, when they just bought the box, didn't know that Dire was going to be a thing. So this was really scary.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Now, could we have avoided this or not? I can't remember.
not at all.
No. Okay.
This is where the encounter deck just starts saying, yeah, you earned it.
Yeah.
Congrats, guys, you earned this. Okay. So,
I think that's fair to say.
at this
Okay.
point, we have a little conversation. You say, I've got a thought to raise.
I said that?
Yeah, oh yeah, that's what you said. If we were to be honest, we would say we breezed through this. We weren't challenged at all. I said, I feel like one bad flip would have changed things. You're like, well, we were managing it. And I said, where is this going? You say, so here's my question for you. Has the player card base passed the Sega campaign insofar as we should probably do a Sega on Nightmare mode?
I blame that on whiskey or wine.
You then say, I just poked fate 100 times. And I respond, time will tell.
Yeah.
4 Mount Dooms later.
But it's interesting to know where we were at this point in the campaign, right?
We just had 6 quests remaining.
We had 3 quests that we'd scooped on. Helm's Deep was legit. One was Old Forest, which shouldn't count because it doesn't work multiplayer. And one was because I was being greedy.
Yeah.
Or I guess Breaking the Fellowship, we had a bad shadow, but you were still having a ton of fun. And that's where we were.
I think this is where I joined y'all too, like watching regularly.
Oh, all right.
When y'all were playing this one.
Now, Mike, I had a ton of fun all the way to Mount Doom.
Good.
There it
Good.
is.
When you say things like, and you were still having fun, makes it think like at around this time I stopped. No.
Okay, true. That's true.
Yeah. Like I was having a good time. Partly, part of the best time of it was I was like, we're gonna do this. We are actually gonna finish the campaign.
Yeah.
Like I feel like 10 or around there, it's like you can get fatigue of this to the point where, I don't need to do this anymore, like, which I think happened to our first one.
Yeah, and people
and
moved away. Like Dennison ended up having a kid.
Yeah.
That does a lot.
Yeah, things like, and just the two of us, and like we made a promise to each other, and we also didn't make it so it had to be every week.
Yeah, we did it.
Right? That was the right thing to do. We spread it out. So.
And that was noted. I think Chad said that's the way to do it.
Yeah.
Spread it out. Don't overdo it.
Yeah. We get burned out.
But it's definitely clear at this point. I was like, oh well, we will finish this campaign in some fashion.
Right.
I'm not sure if I said in some fashion though. As I was saying, we should go Nightmare Passing of the Grey Company.
Yeah. We both really enjoyed Passing. This one was not a favorite the first couple times I played it, and we really had fun. It was, again, we did very well. Single playthrough. We successfully survived Overcome by Fear.
Mm-hmm.
Which, again, in retrospect, wouldn't have been such a big deal. But, again, I was scared of threat. So I will also point out that we have really only gotten a lot of burdens on one quest.
Yep, that was my fault.
It was our fault.
So I have a great love for this particular quest for like personal reasons, in that when I, first discovered Cardboard of the Rings and that community and all of these people, I was on a Twitch with Stokes, Sean, and I think Chad, long ago. And it was like sort of my first intro to this whole community and everything, and how awesome it was. And I had Tactics Eowyn, and it got to this point where Aragorn was going to get passed to me, but I would threat out. I had 49 threat. So I introduced myself to this community in my true hero way, Mike, where I just triggered Eowyn to threat out before Aragorn got past to me. Because everyone's like, "Oh my God, we're done. We're done."
Great.
Because I'm like, "No. I trigger Eowyn." So I just heroically died. And then, of course, we discussed it, and we're like, "Oh, once you died, Aragorn would just have passed anyway." But it's like, well,
That was the way
it
to do
felt
it.
good. It felt like the right thing to do because I hadn't triggered Eowyn yet. But this quest, it was good to see it again after all these years.
Yeah, we had a great time. You told
It's
the
a
same
fun
story too
quest.
last time. It was...
Did I? I apologize.
Hey, no, not everyone gets to see
All
both
right,
videos.
edit
right?
this out. Edit this out.
No. This, and people who want to learn about the campaign in general might just come to this one first, and that's a good.
Ed and I have like 3 life stories, and that's it. So there's one.
We did kill the army of the dead, so we got the boon, Army of the Dead.
Do you think that's a must get in this quest, or do you think you can do without it?
Well, we don't know. It certainly helped us a lot in the next quest coming up.
It felt great to have it.
It did
in the next one.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember us like we were definitely gunning for this one. Like
we were, but I don't think it was. It wasn't a decision. It was let's just do it because we can do it. It wasn't like we had to sacrifice anything to get it.
Right. We weren't. But I don't think I wanted to leave without him.
I actually don't remember if you used Tactics Eowyn. That's a good point, John.
I mean, he kills him. She kills him in one blow.
Yeah, I don't remember how we did it. You might have. You very well might have.
I don't know what else I would have used it on. The other undead in this aren't necessarily worth that. I don't think.
You might have had Beorn out and +5'd him.
Absolutely could have done that. Yeah, at this point, this deck had ways of hitting someone for 10.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Siege of Gondor.
Whoa.
Guess what? We crushed it.
Of course we did.
Nice.
We should have been running Nightmare, but whatever.
We crushed it, and we crushed it in the fastest possible time, which is 5 rounds.
Nice.
And we face-checked it.
Oh, very nice.
We'd never played this before.
We'd never seen it before.
We just crushed it.
Which makes me think, was John there telling us all the things we were doing wrong, or did we just screw up every rule? Like that, I mean, it was one of those things where you're like, we must have missed 52 triggers?
Chad was on, and Chad was telling us.
Okay. We had someone there, like, watching us, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, we had a few people. We had a lot of people in the chat letting us know what was going on.
Awesome. Awesome.
No, we did very well. Let's skip right to Pelennor Fields unless you have more thoughts on Siege.
Not a one.
Okay, why don't you load it up?
It's already there.
I remember Daniel having some choice words for this one.
Yeah.
Towards a certain designer.
We so the first time we played this quest,
I apologize publicly now?
Before we get to Gen Con, and he is like, "Hey, man."
I'll just say, "Hi, Caleb. I'm Mike."
You know what? Go right ahead.
Yeah.
My deck, it was almost like it was stacked and then flipped over. Because I had nothing. The willpower deck had no willpower. I think I just had my heroes by the end.
This one is defined by these guys.
Yeah. So we ended up scooping the first time. It took us about an hour and a half, almost an hour and a half before we scooped. My quote was, "You guys are running to the defenses, and I was out taking a poop," because that's what my deck was doing. It was embarrassing how badly my deck just flopped. Aragorn showed up just as you got mauled by like 12 enemies.
Yep.
Yeah. And but that video is still worth a watch because there's a half hour of us rebuilding decks with Chad on the air.
Oh yeah, that was fun.
Yeah.
That wasn't it. I mean, did we actually have to change our like family rating because of this though?
From day one, we have not had a family rating. I made sure of that because I knew one of us would slip.
Well, that's very sweet of you, Mike. You knew I would slip.
Oh.
You're you're Canadian in that way that you don't like swear a lot.
Oh,
So.
you just can't hear it through the accent. Hey, asshole. Yeah. So we face checked this one again, and of
Yep.
course we lost brutally.
This is a tough one.
It is
But
tough.
then we rebuilt. We rebuilt and we figured it out.
Yes, it was an asterisk win.
Mhm.
We had a couple decisions that we retconned. So I have a lot of stuff to say about this quest.
I'm sitting back.
Okay. First thing, we retconned a couple things, a couple of decisions, and it was one of those. Oh yeah, we lost this hero, but you know what? We really should have done this. And it wasn't a. It was one of those. If we had sat back and thought about every move for like 5-10 minutes, we could have figured it out.
Well, I often say, if we were smarter, we wouldn't have done this.
We're on air, and we
Right.
decided early on. This is a show. We're just gonna retcon if it makes sense. Like if we're being idiots and we're saying no, we're gonna do a risky move. Yeah, we earned it.
Right.
But I think the funniest one was when I totally knew what was in the encounter deck. I totally knew, and I thought you knew too, and I thought you had shadow cancellation. So I was like, "Oh, hey, Vergon, yeah, take that guy." And of course, the last card in the deck is the defender doesn't count as defense. And then I realized like something happened and like you couldn't play it or you just lost the card to a treachery or something. And I was like, oh wait, we should retcon that because I actually knew that was the card in there.
You always hated Baragond.
So at that
Set him
point, I said, you know, Daniel, if we were truly in an attack, I wouldn't stand by snickering, going, I would come to your rescue. This was the first time where we felt drained, because of the length of the quest.
Right.
And you actually brought up, okay, how many times are we going to do this on air? Because this took us 2 hours to win. So, it's not a bad quest.
2
but it
hours
is
to win
hard.
doesn't sound that much, but it was, yeah.
And
After an hour.
a
and
lot
half
of triggers. It wears on you. I mean, it does what it does.
Now, this is the one where Chad came on and was the trigger helper, right?
He was. He was the trigger helper.
Right.
He got us through it.
That was
Trigger man.
That was helpful.
It was.
Yeah. That. Could you? I don't know that I could imagine doing this. Well, we might have actually not had to retcon because we would have slowed things down so much that.
Well, I think all the triggers happen at the end of. It's at the beginning of questing, at the end of refresh. All the triggers happen at 2 points.
Yeah, for the most part, right?
But there's a lot of triggers at those 2 points. That's
yes.
Yeah.
But I will point out again that there is a page in the manual dedicated to how to remember your triggers for this quest.
That's
right.
Whew. Makes me wonder if you've decided to write a page, if maybe you have too many triggers if it takes a full page.
Yeah. These are all the enemies that could have come with us to from the Black Gate. Like I said, the first time we played this, they all showed up and Gondor was already burning. Everyone, I arrived as fast as I humanly possible. The other thing I will note is that if you go easy mode, you only remove 1 card from the encounter deck.
Really? What is that? Oh, it's the Black Serpent.
It's the Black Serpent.
Oh, what?
This is the only nightmare
He's not even
card.
the worst.
Yeah. Like.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. So the comment was made, because that's the reason we lost, right? Interesting decision on their part. Well, that's what I had to say about this quest.
This one's one of my favorites.
Is it?
It is. I love the epic feel of it. It's
I will say,
like one I'll play all the time. Like if I can get a group together to play like this quest, I would love it. If we all like tailor our
it's-
decks and come in with it,
You're right. It's got a beautiful epic feel. It captures that moment really well.
it really does.
That could be part of the frustration I felt. And you know what's funny is like there are probably other moments earlier where I could have said terrible things about Caleb that I didn't actually mean. And so why I decided to drop it here, it's curious to me.
This is the point where the campaign stops.
This was Mount Doom before Mount Doom.
Yeah, it stops.
It stops giving you time to breathe.
Yeah, there's no whimsy anymore in
This
these
is
last
where
quests.
we're taking
know?
a few mulligans just
Yeah.
to get
Mhm.
past the first quest stage.
Yeah.
And if you're not
Well,
in
thank
campaign
goodness
mode,
Caleb doesn't listen to this. But if he did, he'd hear my apology right now.
I think my favorite moment is when you flip the quest card and we realize that we've earned these Wraith on wings just by surviving. Even though we killed them.
Do you have any good exact quotes, or can you not say them on
No,
air?
no, it's we were just laughing. Like I think at that point we were just
Like
I don't know.
what's another nut punch other than funny?
Yeah, it's
Yeah, I get it.
yeah, laughing,
I think at one
crying,
point
it's
you
all the
said-
same at that point.
No,
At
but
one
like
point-
having two of these for the remainder of it,
Mhm.
I think. Well, Mike, do you want me to save this for the end, or do you want me to say now what I think?
Say it now.
It's unfair. Like, when they go to the victory display, they should be gone.
Right, you've
You
already
know?
dealt with it.
And yeah, and we had beaten them into the victory display, only for them to like start the next quest. And I just don't. It's the same complaint I have with all the burdens. It's like they stick around, but the boons don't. Is unacceptable.
Yeah. And I think
No.
the way I complained about the 4 burdens from the Balrog quest, these 2 burdens had that effect on you in that now this was the target of your Eowyn, and
Yeah,
you
I
were
mean,
immediately mulliganing for a Rivendell blade so you could actually take this thing down so that we could quest.
It defined my first 2 turns, and it only dealt with half the problem.
Yeah.
Right. So like until weirdly Mount Doom when they eased off, like
Yeah.
like these 2 things are sitting up there unassailable, and it just like it was so pointless. I mean, it's like, yeah, those other quests, they just weren't hard enough without those starting in the staging area.
Yeah.
And it's like, come on, like what? Which brings me to the general complaint that I'll have near the end where I feel like there are specific deck types or strategies that you're railroaded into, which I don't ever like in a card game.
That's what I'm starting to realize too.
And so, I mean, we'll
Yeah.
get there at the end, but like, yeah, these guys, once you beat them, they should be out. Like-
So what you're saying is Esquire of Gondor and Esquire of Rohan do not make up for those 2 burdens?
That's correct. That's what I'm saying.
Uh,
To be the lowest ranked something at something does not make up for the 16 health asshole that starts the quest in the staging area.
Yeah.
No, but so I just don't understand like the design principle behind making burdens stick and boons not.
I think
So
even something around now that said, take a burden out of your choice. Just take out a burden.
Yeah, it is kind of interesting that they only did that once. Like, why not twice? I don't know. It's
Right.
Because you get a lot more burdens after that. It's only the second box where you get the
Yeah.
option to take them out, and there's still so many burdens after that.
right.
And
Or
I will
just if a burden
reiterate.
if a burden has a victory number, if that burden is in the victory display at the end, take it out.
Yeah.
Like not all the burdens have victory number. Like
I will reiterate, we did not get 5 burdens in the first box. We got through with the minimum number of burdens possible. We got none of the burdens from the Helm's Deep box. So we had still that one quest that gave us burdens, and we're feeling it now. I think they could have given players the option of just getting rid of 1 or 2, or just saying,
Yeah, and in the story of it all, like, the Fellowship really wasn't dealing with these problems. Right? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
the
well,
things we got in the Balrog, I don't know. But like,
it is interesting that these dog both parties at once. Like, it's not
yeah,
just
right.
Aragorn's group, it's Frodo's as
And
well.
can we argue that Gandalf's delay actually doesn't matter once Gandalf's back?
That's the weirdest one that stuck with you to me. That one felt the weirdest. Like, why is this
Why?
affecting me?
And
I'm still feeling his capture by Saruman 9 months ago. Like,
yeah.
even though we hang out.
But here I'm mousing over this card now, and there it is. That right in the left-hand corner. It says remove the burdens basically from the Hobbit side of things, and yep, that's still in the campaign pool. It's still there.
Wait, what is?
The Ring draws them / Gandalf's delay. It's still in our campaign pool.
Oh yeah.
In Pelennor.
No, you don't have those for Pelennor.
Yeah, but it's in the campaign pool.
Oh, but it's in the I see what you're saying.
Oops.
Yeah, I mean,
it's really weird.
Yeah. Which brings us. Oh, sorry, you gonna say?
No, nothing.
Resolution: add 1 copy per player of Wraith on Wings.
Yep.
Oh,
we're just laughing.
God.
I mean, I can kind of see why they come with you, because they are, like, you can't kill Nazgul. Like, you don't really kill them. And they do come back at the Black Gate to fight again, and there is one that shows up at Cirith Ungol. So I can see narratively why he did it. I don't know, maybe just adding 1 of them, but the fact that there's 1 per player is really a lot to deal with.
Yeah.
Well, the fact that you get them even if you dealt with them during the quest.
Yeah, but that's the thing.
Which
you can't actually kill them, though, like, narratively speaking.
I guess, but maybe if they're both in the victory display, you get a 1 scenario reprieve or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. There could have been maybe better ways to do it, but that's, hindsight's 20/20.
Yeah.
I'm sure Caleb's gonna hire me on to rewrite. All right, Cirith Ungol.
Brings us to the last box.
It does.
Cirith Ungol. Did we crush it?
Whoa.
No. We lost 2-3 times on quest card 1.
Yep. I remember this. This was when I had my kind of an existential crisis, Mike.
Yeah. So the first loss. Okay, yeah, we face checked it, and I get it. I think we were a little too efficient, and you kind of have to let the encounter deck kill itself with the way the orcs are colliding.
That's an interesting way of wording it. Yeah.
Yeah, because we were shaking things and killing them, and then of course they're just being replaced.
Right.
Whereas the game is designed.
We did twice the work we needed to.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. This.
Do you want me to pull it up? For any reason?
No, I think we're all right.
Okay. All right.
Couple things I did in this. In order to win, I made a quick change to my deck, which I will bring up here. I threw in Sneak Attack Gandalf. Up till this point, I did not have Sneak Attack Gandalf.
Oh, wow, you really didn't, did you?
Nope.
Oh my gosh.
And I had to. He answers enough things. And again, no room to breathe. This is the railroading into a deck type idea. It's also where I first brought out the O word. The Outlands.
Oh.
This is where I built my Outlands deck. And I said, if we lose one more time, I'm bringing this out for the rest of the campaign.
Rage Lands.
And it was basically this, but
I'm pretty sure I said to you, we're breaking up if you do that.
Something similar. Something similar to that.
We're breaking
up.
But
no relationship can withstand Outlands. I'm sorry.
But there are some fun things. Elladan and Elrond here made it to the deck, and I really enjoy them. My deck got a lot more
They're really good
fighty.
in that quest.
Yeah, you were stabbing stuff.
I was stabbing a lot of stuff. It was great.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah. Why don't you pull up Black Gate?
Will do.
This is a fun one.
Black
If
Gate
no-
is fun.
I like it just because it's a really fun just how long can you survive type thing, which is very unique. There's no other quest like it.
Yeah, and we did need help from the community because we didn't know what was coming up. So if we lost in if we won in 3 rounds, is that good or bad?
Yeah.
Turns out 3 would be bad.
Yeah, 3 would be very bad.
Oh gosh, that's not even enough to make it through every quest stage, I think.
So we did this in 7.
That's solid.
Do you know how many attempts we made against this quest?
Are you asking me or John?
You.
I thought we just did it once.
Once. We crushed it.
Yeah.
Nice.
This is where
Yeah.
we used the Palantir. Aragorn had the Palantir, and I think on round 5 or so, we're like, yeah, 1 less card.
I think it's your last chance to use the Palantir too.
Yeah, no, I mean, I remember this being one of those things where like, oh, the community said 7 is good, and then we did it.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, we did 7.
Okay.
And it was like, it wasn't even like we struggled to get through 6. It was, yeah, 7's probably, yeah, it's looking like 7 now. Yeah, it's 7 for sure.
It was a good run.
It was. I actually like this quest. It was neat. It was punishing, but like you said, it's a last as long as you can, so it's fair.
Yeah. It punishes, I think, in some way, like every deck archetype. Like, it punishes swarms with the Tower of Teeth. It punishes, you can't really cancel anything because that Mouth of Sauron is going to smack you in the face for that.
Yeah.
There's not really a way to tech against it, which is, appropriate, I think, for Black Gate.
Indeed.
Well, I mean, the only tech against it really is just a bunch of dudes that can withstand some pain for a while.
Yeah. Unless you're C-stand and then just break the game, but that's.
I'm not that interested in that either.
I know. Yeah.
That's about as interesting as bringing Outlands to the party. Remove the encounter deck from the encounter deck.
I'm glad I didn't bring the Outlands. I'm really glad.
That would have been, that would have been the kind of asterisk that will keep you up at night. Whereas I sleep just fine having not beat Mount Doom. I want to go on record, Mike.
Sauron has the ring, and you're just fine. You're like, at least we didn't get Outlands up in here. Gosh. Sauron rules all of Middle Earth, but at least it's not Outlands.
That's right.
Yeah.
But if you want to do it again with Outlands, I'm with you.
Oh.
Oh.
Totally kidding. All right, so that brings us to the end.
Mount Doom.
So I'm going to run to the restroom, but can you?
Yeah, I'll load her up.
Can you put the encounter deck up and load it? All right, I'll be right back.
Oh, Mount Doom.
Mount Doom. The quest that hits you from every angle at once.
Literally from turn 1, hits you with damage.
Yeah, that was.
And that, I think, especially really kicked y'all because that's a Grievous Wound right off the bat.
Yeah.
That's
so.
No bueno.
Yeah. That's a Grievous Wound right off the bat, and we have Gandalf's delay.
Yeah, gosh. Why? Why is he delayed? Why does it matter? You're in Mordor. Who cares? It's all terrible.
Gandalf's at the
but
Black
the wizard's
Gate.
delayed.
Yeah. Let's see. So we place X resources on Mount Doom, and we never ran out. We never timed out.
Yeah, with 7 generally, that's not a problem.
Yeah.
Unless you get really unlucky with like some fortitude tests or something.
Yeah, I think we did a couple scoops and we realized that there was no chance we could even make it out in best
Mhm.
case scenario.
Location control is pretty key in this one because there's a lot of them.
There's a lot of everything, and Daniel's not back yet, but okay, well, we'll talk about threat. This quest is all about threat
Mm-hmm.
because it's trying to raise you up
Dire.
because threat makes your fortitude tests harder.
Yep. And it also has a lot of ally hate.
And
It
a lot of
will
ally hate.
really punish you for bringing anybody other than the heroes
Yeah.
that you brought.
But threat wasn't that big a deal in this. A little bit, but
I mean, when you got 99 to play with,
yeah.
It does make fortitude tests harder though. Like every time you go up, a 10's digit, it's kind of like, oh, okay, there's one more card to that fortitude test.
Yeah.
All right, I'm back.
Okay,
Welcome back,
so
one.
the quest does a lot to you, and I think what makes it especially hard is that the enemies here are so brutally difficult that you need readying on every character.
Mm-hmm.
You need it on Eowyn, you need it on Baragond. You need it on Legolas, you need it on... We were fighting for Light of Valinor, we were fighting for every unexpected courage, and it wasn't enough.
Mm-hmm.
And on top of that...
you certainly can't low threat it and leave stuff in the staging area because the staging area piles up so fast with the surge, treachery.
Yeah, so...
There's too many things the encounter deck does.
And we stacked our decks.
Unfair.
We stacked our decks, like Light of Valinor, the Glorfindel's Horse, Asphaloth, healing, and...
But healing, if you put healing in the deck in the form of allies, you get punished for it.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
in other ways.
But Grievous Wound, right? You need...
Yep, but you gotta have healing turn 1 if you got Grievous Wound.
Because you have a...
Because that scratch I received in scenario 6 still bothers me.
So, yeah.
So, I'm not going to wax on and on this, Mike, but I've got some thoughts.
I'm sitting back and listening.
My popcorn is ready.
Beverly, you ready?
All right.
Yeah. It's so funny how far away she sounds.
She's working on sewing.
So I'm a little torn about this because this quest has to be hard and it has to be punishing, and all those things that we felt, I think, are appropriate to this quest. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This just can't. You can't face check one shot this one and be like, oh, we won, right? No. This has got to be a grind that is slow and painful. And I totally get that. But it's done in such a way that it's a hopeless grind, right? There are no moments for heroism or interesting decisions or there might be a very, very particular deck that can beat it. And if you don't design it and don't play it right or whatever, or get the encounter deck to shuffle itself into the only possible way to work for you, you're done.
And I think
so. Not only is it hopeless, it's 3 hours of hopeless. Which is also thematically appropriate for Christ. It's horrible on so many levels, and I'm torn because most of those levels make thematic sense, right? But as a game that you've worked 20 scenarios towards, it's quite simply, it's just too hard.
You brought up a really good point about decisions. Let me point out 3 cards with decisions on them. The Big Rook, after he engages you, raise your threat by 4, or he makes an immediate attack.
You raise your threat, not a
Raise your threat.
decision.
Because your readying is not on Beargond, unless you're extremely fortunate. It's on Eowyn so that you can actually get this far. Each player must choose either discard a questing character you control or raise a threat by 1 for each questing character you control.
You raise your threat.
You raise your threat.
It's not a choice.
Drawn to the ring. Either exhaust the 1 ring and reveal an encounter card, or discard cards from the encounter deck until an enemy is discarded and put it into play engage with you.
See, I think this one is more of a choice than the other two because both are just horrible.
You exhaust the ring. Well, see, when this came up, every time this came up,
every time it came up, we had to exhaust the ring.
We couldn't afford the enemy.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was also not a choice. And so, like,
it's the illusion of choice.
I don't know, man. Like, it's just, to me, it's just not, it's not a feel-good win if, oh, well, Mike, you and I got the shit beat out of us for 34 hours until we decided on these very particular best 2 decks to ever play against this quest. They aren't the heroes that we brought here this far. Like, Eowyn came the whole way.
Yeah.
You know? Like...
And I'll harp again. We had burdens. We did not have even half the burdens that you could have coming into this quest.
No, and then you know, this one started with that flipping Wraith on... Oh, just like... It's like that... I don't know. It's...
Yeah, I think y'all started with 1.
Yeah, because we got rid of one of them in the previous quest because we did kill them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think too, you know, I think that this quest doesn't need. I think it's a great nightmare mode thing to have the whole text on the quest card: first treachery can't be canceled, and it surges. Right? Like.
Oh yeah,
But that's unnecessary. Yeah, I mean.
If it was just immune to player cards, that would be all right.
Yeah, and then gain and they already have a lot of surge. So we had like, how many of our 6 or 7 runs, Mike? How many had the first quest stage end up with like?
We only made it past the first quest
cards
stage
revealed.
Twice.
Yeah, like we would have 6 cards revealed.
Yeah.
And
3 enemies.
I'm questing for 5 out of the gate, maybe.
I'm bringing all my characters to the quest, even if I don't have defense, because if I don't bring Elrond, we don't succeed.
We don't succeed. No, it's.
Yeah.
It's. I'm not going to say poor design. It's almost like perfectly designed, and that's the problem.
It's nightmare mode.
You know what I mean?
It is nightmare mode.
It is nightmare.
I don't know what they have to do to when they make the nightmare version of this quest. Like, it's already hard enough. What are you going to add to it? Like,
they're going to say, take all of the burdens in all of the previous scenarios and throw them in. Yeah, that's what they're going to say.
And then if you go easy mode, Mike, you also learned that you don't get any reprieve either.
I have that on the bottom here. So these 3 cards are the 3 cards you remove in easy mode. One of them is Golem. So Golem doesn't come out of the deck and attack you. Or actually,
wait. You don't have Golem? No, it's the Wicked Master then.
It's Wicked Master. So it's the Golem attacks you immediately or you pull him out of the deck.
Or you search for him, yeah.
Which, that's a tough card because Golem is kind of helping you. And look at the 3 icons in the bottom.
Yeah, the 3 icons are the worst part of that card.
Deep Shadows. Each player must choose. Discard your hand or reveal an encounter card. Now again, that's a rough card.
That's a terrible card.
This was terrible.
That one owned us a couple times.
It did, because we had to reveal encounter cards. It was I lose my sneak attack Gandalf, which I need to survive this round, or reveal an encounter card. That's where I was with it. But in the
why are these other 3
bottom
down here?
corner, these are cards these are not removed from the deck, and I just wanted to point them out what they are. The card with 2 icons. Now its effect is mean. It's not the nastiest, but it's it can kill fortitude tests.
Guess how many of that there are in the deck? That Lidless Eye card.
Oh boy.
3, I think.
5.
Right?
4.
There's 4. Yeah.
There are 4 of that card.
Drawn to the Ring is still in the deck. The one we talked about that owned us a couple times. And the Ring Wraith of Sauron's still in the deck.
But he's that idiot threat. You'll never have to deal with him. Oh wait.
Oh wait. Oh wait.
What's his forced effect?
Yeah. So stage 3, when everyone has to make fortitude tests. It's
Yep.
yeah. And he does not have victory.
Nope.
So.
No, I just think there were a couple of places in this particular quest that could have been fixed. And I hate to use that word. I don't mean that word.
Yeah, more accessible.
But I do mean
accessible.
a word.
Yeah.
That's not unlike fixed. Because this is just, it's too, like, you can't bring allies and all the things, like, not everyone's building a Voltron deck, and if you build a Voltron deck, it gets hosed by the other treachery that...
The heavy and tired burden.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if I didn't have my boons on Elrond and you didn't have it on Eowyn?
No.
Like, that's the only help you really have at this point.
Right. And then, so one thing, I don't know if you talked about this, Mike, while I was away, but, like, so for this very last quest, the end of all things, I swapped up Legolas with Glorfindel, and I don't know if that was the right call.
Yeah, it's part of me wishes we just kept the same decks just to see how far we get.
Yeah, I feel that way too.
Like just playing with allies, just to see. But,
I mean, really, if all I have is Sulian and Beorn, that could be good.
Yeah.
You know?
Because your deck wasn't doing what it was meant to do.
No.
This quest said you can't do that. You can't concentrate on getting your weapons out. Because you need Eowyn to be the hero.
Yeah, it's the fortitude test thing, and I guess I think there's just too many things.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, make this quest about fortitude checks and make those hard. Right? Or make this a treachery heavy scenario. And that's his thing. So then, like, the quest card says they surge and they can't be affected by player card. Like, fine. But both of those things hitting you on either side, or maybe something earlier in the campaign, like, dictates you take the fortitude path or you take, like, the treachery path.
Yeah.
You know?
I was explaining that to my wife today, all the things the quest hits you with. And then afterwards I realized I'd forgotten to tell her about all the burdens we had. Oh, and we have one less card. Oh, and we have a boss in the staging area. Oh, we can't get hit. Or, oh wait, but we do get hit.
No, it's... And then this is... Okay, I'm sorry. I need to bring this up, Mike. If this is really the rule of this flipping game.
Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, you're hit for 2 immediately, and your Grievous Wound kicks in.
Yeah.
And by the end, we even said, no, not doing that.
And we did make it to Quest Stage 3 by not doing that.
Right, and I think that was the only reason.
Probably. Because I didn't have a healer in play.
No, I do not like this last quest. I don't know if I made that clear.
I think it was well argued.
I feel like I've been opaque and ambiguous about this. But,
yeah. It's unfortunate.
It's a really sad ending to, like, a lot of fun we had for a year.
Yeah. And it's amazing how much of this campaign we crushed.
Yeah. And maybe that's what I resent most, Mike, is that we spent a year of our lives having a lot of fun, only to, like, butt up a challenge that couldn't be fun.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, in no way is this going to be a good time.
Yeah. Which is why we made our decision.
Even, like, designing the damn thing to beat it.
Yeah, that wasn't...
Like, won't be fun. It won't be, like, hours spent where we're like, aren't we gratified?
We are not those heroes.
Yeah, we are not.
Some people are.
Oh,
Great.
some people are.
Anyways, we do appreciate everyone who stuck around to watch the campaign.
God, yeah, absolutely.
Because for most of
It
it,
was awesome.
we had a lot of
I
fun.
loved watching it every night.
And we had a lot of fun banter. John, you were great to have on and to to set us straight.
I tried to be helpful too, as well as hurtful.
Yeah,
to give
you
you all
were.
positive rules that helped you.
You were. Unfortunately, the triggers on player cards are much easier for us to see than the ones on the encounter cards.
Yeah.
What do you think about campaign in general, then?
You know what? I think of it a lot like I think about Peace Corps. It was a really interesting and wonderful thing I did that I will never do again.
I believe after Pelennor Fields. I said, so are you ever going to play this again? You're like, no, I'm never playing this again. I'm never playing campaign again.
Never. Never. I mean, like, well, part of me is like, well, what would be the point of that?
Yeah.
Right? Like the game, like they keep releasing new stuff. There's plenty of old quests that I haven't played. You know, I haven't played this new box or this new like.
Oh, the new cycle.
The new cycle, like. So yeah, I see no reason to put myself through this again, knowing like, especially knowing the end.
Yeah.
You know, like, the Balrog and his 4 treacheries he gave us is not what really did us in the end, I don't think.
Well, it certainly didn't help.
Well, no, it wasn't helpful, but it's not.
Yeah.
If we ignore
If
the
they weren't
text on
there,
Break of
we
Thorns,
still lost these things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it doesn't. It mattered earlier, but we crushed those things. So I don't know. But yeah, I will never play a campaign again.
But I will play some of these quests not in campaign mode.
Absolutely. I was going to say that. But standalone, like John, you were saying, like, I really like Pelennor Fields or whatever. Like, why not?
Yeah, without those birds,
absolutely.
that could be a lot better.
Why not? That could be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. I loved campaign mode when I did it with Carlos. We made it. We managed to beat Mount Doom. Took us a few tries, but I love campaign mode. But I'm kind of in your ballpark a little bit in that, like, I'm playing campaign. I want to play campaign again with Beverly. Obviously, we want to play campaign together because it's fun to do something like that with your wife.
Absolutely.
But like the only other time I think I would do a campaign again is if like it's a different number of players than 2, because like once you've done it with a certain group of players, it's kind of like, I mean, I've done that already. I kind of know what's coming,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
But like,
sure.
So I don't know, if I could do it in a 3-player group or a 4-player group, I might be like, oh, okay. But at the same time, kind of the wonder of the campaign mode is like, kind of like, okay, well, been there, done that. So it's not, this, oh man, this is so exciting, we're doing it, so. But I am.
Yeah, I mean, that's well said. The wonder is
once you've done it one time, it's kind of like, the gleam has been lost because you've done that already.
Yeah.
And
like
and adding the nightmare version won't change the wonder.
Oh man, the nightmare. They don't have nightmare up to Flame of the West, right? They haven't released nightmare for that, have they?
They probably don't know what to do.
I don't know. Honestly, in a lot of these last 2 boxes, what you could do to make them that much harder. Like, I mean, maybe some of the first 2, like Flame of the West, but like once you get to Pelennor Fields, I don't really know how much you make those much harder.
I guess here you could just throw more eyes
terrible
on the cards. Just same cards, just throw more symbols on them.
Yeah. You could throw in some treacheries that surge so that when you get revealed, they double surge as the first card.
Yeah. The rules state it gains
stop
surge.
giving Caleb ideas.
It gains surge. Once a card has surge, there's no such thing as double surge.
Oh.
That's why
So
the
that's going to be the
Hornblower.
new
in
That's gonna be the
Dwaro
nightmare one be. Then it's gonna be like it gains double surge.
Yeah. The Hornblower says surge, and when revealed, draw an
Yeah.
encounter card, specifically because surge doesn't double.
Mhm. I loved campaign mode. I would love to see if Caleb would ever do something like this again in some other, narrative way. This kind of a thing where it's a continuous story. I know it takes a lot of work to do something like that. So, but at the same time, I thought it was. I think it was one of his crowning achievements in the game.
Do you think? I agree with that, John. I think it is an absolute achievement. Do you think that you could do that with any cycle?
You probably could, but there's not like the thrill of the boons and
the burdens and the stuff. Like,
the stuff that travels with you.
Right.
Like,
but how hard would it be to make for each cycle a boon and burden pack?
You could do that. I mean, that'd be fun. That could be a player created thing.
Yeah.
Right. So there, I issue that challenge.
There you go. It could be as simple as grab a player card from the cycle and grab an encounter card from that deck, or something like.
Sure, I mean, like it. But anyway, I feel like the narrative structure of each cycle, like after the first two weren't all that narratively gripping, but like starting with
was it
the third one, the
third one, like Perils of Peligir, that kind of against the shadow, right?
Shadow.
Like that had a narrative structure that actually was its own, like it was a campaign.
Yeah.
Written by Christian Peterson, I think.
Yeah. So so each, I mean, you could just treat each cycle as a mini campaign. You keep your same decks. Yeah, we could do that. That'd be a lot of fun. That could be a place Monday Night Twitch goes.
Yeah.
Like, hey, let's do a campaign in the Dread Realm. What is that one?
Ooh.
Oh, Angmar.
Awakened cycle. Oh man, getting Karn Doom at that point.
Because remember how I liked unfair quests? Remember?
I hate Karn Doom. I think Karn Doom is so much worse than this one.
Do you?
I hate Karn Doom.
Gosh, I can get past quest stage 1 in Karn Doom.
Oh, it's so hard.
Maybe it's the name Doom.
That's it. That's what it is.
But we could do that. That could be our next thing for Monday Night Twitch. It's like, hey, let's do every other week is our cycle campaign kind of thing. We keep the same deck, and
if y'all are up for like having it with 3 people, I would be on board.
Where's Beverly? We're up for having it for 4.
Yeah. Okay, we have to be very careful which cycle we choose then.
Doing that cycle where we play through an entire cycle, like a campaign mode type thing. Keep the same heroes, go through each quest as the next Monday Night Twitch thing.
But Mike, do you agree with me that we hired John to make it campaign rules?
I think
like with burdens and boons.
Yeah.
Ooh.
It could be, and it could just be simple. I think it might be hard enough with the. What's the idea? Just same hero lineup?
Yeah.
I think same hero, like this campaign here, same hero lineup. I could come up with something.
But I mean, it also could be like
You could also murder us in our sleep.
What did she say?
She said you could also murder them in their sleep for like suggesting that.
There is that.
Too far away. It's not worth the drive or the plane ticket.
You guys could murder me at Gen Con.
It's also
no, but like,
only
or maybe you get to keep. Oh, what if you got to keep one card as a permanent in the next scenario?
Ooh.
A card that you had in play.
Right. So a card that you had in play becomes a permanent. That could be fun. And then by the time you get to Karn Doom,
you had like
you still have no chance.
Yeah. You said.
But at least it feels fair.
But like that kind of idea for a campaign.
Yeah.
Raise your threat by 2 to have a permanent, or who knows? Lots of options.
Well, we've had player-created scenarios before. We did Sea Stands, we did Vardanes.
And those are great. Oh my God, were they great?
Custom content is something we're willing to do.
Yep.
Well,
all right.
I guess, I mean, sad the sour ending, but I had a lot of fun playing the campaign.
I don't regret at all this year doing this campaign, Mike. It was an absolute
same here.
pleasure. It's so fun playing this game with you, brother.
And if we go back to the videos, we say it almost every time.
Yeah, like this, it was awesome.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
It was fun.
Mount Doom, even Mount Doom, awesome because we were hanging out.
Yeah.
So
we just we need to get back to our happier selves.
And dude, I'll be waving the pom poms if you want to go solo against it and win.
It wouldn't feel the same.
It'd feel great. You would feel great. Don't lie to yourself. I'll be there at Con of the Rings. I will really legit bring pom poms if you do it. So,
dude, epic multiplayer mode, Daniel.
Boy.
You can just play. You could just play. Black Gate, so you never have to play Mount Doom, and then Michael play Mount Doom.
Perfect.
There we go.
Perfect. Done. Because Black Gate was kind of fun.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Sign us out, Mike.
All right. Thank everyone for joining us, and yes, we did have some listeners. Ooh, thank everyone for listening in. If you're catching this on YouTube, I hope this gave you some insight into why we made the decisions we did. Maybe gave you some thoughts if you're going to start your own campaign, or just I hope you enjoyed it in general. Like Daniel said, we had a lot of fun over the year, and I hope you did too. Thanks for joining us on this journey. We will see you for the next one. Have a good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night.